Congratulations, you just became a trillionaire, the richest person in human history. Your net worth exceeds the capital of 4 Bezoses combined. Spend $1 million a day and you won't go bankrupt for the next 2,500 years. The world is at your feet.
But there's a catch. Everyone knows about it. You instantly become the most recognizable person on the planet. Your face flashes on every screen in every country. People are already gathering outside your house. Dozens, then hundreds. Some with cameras, others with signs. A third group just silently staring into your windows. Anxiety washes over you. But you're a trillionaire, which means a solution is found quickly. You hire a bodyguard. Not enough. 2, still not enough. You form a full-fledged protection detail, at least 12 armed professionals working around the clock. This kind of cover is usually reserved for sitting heads of state. 1 phone call, and in 48 hours it's done. Great. You are safe.
Now, about transportation. Your old Honda clearly doesn't fit the new reality. You buy a Bugatti. No, the whole company. $2 billion. That's 0.2% of your net worth. It's like a guy making $100,000 a year buying a jacket. Your accountant writes it off as a rounding error.
But you also need a place to live. The old apartment is besieged by paparazzi, and the whole world knows your address. You buy an estate, 14 acres behind high walls and wrought iron gates, a 24/7 security post at the entrance, a private driveway, and you can't even see the main house from here. $200 million, without a second thought. A property like this doesn't run itself. You need staff. Maids, gardeners, 2 rotating personal chefs, an estate manager, a housekeeper, drivers, a tech crew, IT specialists just for the security systems, a personal assistant, and your assistant's assistant. Within a month, 63 people are working in your house. You feel comfortable. Everything runs like a well-oiled machine. And now you can truly start spending because you have $1 trillion and you're a little bored. You buy a Boeing 747, strip it down completely, and turn it into a flying mansion, $400 million. You buy an island in the South Pacific. You order the largest private yacht in history, helipad, submarine bay, movie theater, full medical suite, $600 million.
And here is what no one warned you about. $1 trillion generates money faster than you can spend it. Even in the most conservative investments, your wealth grows by tens of millions daily. Every morning you wake up richer than when you went to sleep, without lifting a finger. The money is managed, security is insured, cars, real estate, staff, everything is under control. But you want coffee, just coffee from that shop you went to for years. Security needs 45 minutes to prep. When you finally push through the crowd of paparazzi and walk inside, all conversations stop. The barista's hands are shaking. Someone in the corner is filming you from behind a laptop screen. You get your coffee. Tastes exactly the same, but everything around it is different. You stop going there. You don't want to bother anyone.
But with this kind of money, you can do something truly important. You write a check for $500 million to help disaster victims. The media runs it for about half a news cycle because compared to your net worth, this amount equals a quiet work week. People are grateful for one day, and then they start expecting more. They always expect more.
But it's not strangers that annoy you.
It's the people you know. The phone doesn't stop ringing, only now it's not friends calling. It's lawyers, asset managers, heads of state, fund directors. Everyone wants a meeting. Everyone wants your name at the top of a document, your signature on a check. Old friends start to disappear. Some just stop reaching out. Those who still call speak differently, carefully, weighing every word. You invite your college roommate over for the weekend at the estate. He agrees before you even finish the sentence. When he arrives, he praises everything: the house, the grounds, the wine, the guest bedroom, agrees with your every word for 2 straight days, laughs at jokes that aren't funny, doesn't object to anything. He used to argue with you about everything: movies, politics, where to get dinner. That was exactly what the whole friendship was built on. But that story will soon fade into the background because the lawsuits begin. Not 1, not 2, 17 in the first 6 months. A former business partner claims you wronged him in a deal 9 years ago. A woman from Arizona claims you verbally promised her $10 million at a charity gala in 2019. You've never been to Arizona. Most of the lawsuits are garbage. Your lawyers say as much, using the word frivolous so often it stops sounding like a real word. But every single case costs 6 figures just to defend. Each makes the headlines. Each requires depositions, documents, or a settlement. You settle 3 cases, not because they have merit, but because litigating publicly is more expensive than just paying. $1 million here, 2 there, a rounding error. But every settlement is covered by the press, and every article attracts 5 more lawsuits. Your annual legal budget crosses $40 million. An entire floor of a law firm works exclusively for you. You've never even met most of these people. And then she appears, sharp-tongued, unexpectedly funny, not a word about money. You see each other again and again. After 3 weeks, it starts to feel like something real. Then you notice the little things. She mentions your island in a conversation you never had. She knows your pilot's name, knows which car you prefer in the city. Little things, but they mean she studied you beforehand, even before you met. Of course she did. Everyone does. But now, behind every moment with her, hangs a question. Does she like you, or what surrounds you? The estate, the jet, the access to a life she would otherwise never touch? Once that question appears, it never leaves. You start looking at her differently. You stop calling. She texts twice. Then she goes silent too. The story doesn't end there. 2 weeks later, a tabloid publishes an article, "The Trillionaire's Secret Romance." Photos from the restaurant, photos of her leaving your estate, a quote from a source close to the couple. You didn't leak it, she didn't. Someone in the restaurant, a waiter or a valet, saw you together and pulled out their phone. Now her name is everywhere, her face, her job, her home address. Strangers send her messages, some with threats. Before she met you, she had a private, quiet, anonymous life. You erased it just by sitting across from her at a cafe table. Your press team drafts a statement. Lawyers send cease and desist letters to the publisher. Nothing brings her name back into the shadows. You send her an apology. She reads it, doesn't reply. The leaks continue, and the next one is worse. Someone from your past sells a story to a magazine. A joke tossed out at a party in 2011, pulled out of context and put into a headline, turns you into a completely different person. In 48 hours, it's everywhere. People who have never seen you now have a firm opinion of who you are, based on words spoken in a college dorm 15 years ago. The crisis team springs into action. The advice is always the same: don't respond. Responding only makes it worse. You sit in your office in front of 7 monitors and watch someone sell your past. Team estimates say for $250,000. $250,000. That's what your past is worth to someone who used to be your friend. You can't call him, can't confront him, can't even admit you know who did it, because that would become news too. You just sit there. On Sunday morning, your mum calls. Her voice is the same. Asks if you're eating properly. Tells you about a bird that keeps coming to her garden. For 10 minutes, your shoulders drop, your jaw relaxes, and you almost forget what your life has turned into. Then she mentions your brother. She didn't ask to call. He would never ask. But he's falling behind on his mortgage, his car needs repairs, and you have more money than some countries, and he's family. You had no idea he was struggling. That same day, you wire him a few million. He doesn't call to say thank you. 3 months later, at a holiday dinner where you flew the whole family in on your 747, he sits at the far end of the table, talking to cousins, to your aunt, to anyone but you. When you try to catch his eye, he looks at his plate. He leaves before dessert, without saying goodbye. A week later, your mum calls again. Her tone is different. There's a silence in it. Your brother told your cousin that you ruined the family, that everything changed when the money came. Your mum isn't telling you this to take sides. She's telling you because she doesn't know what to do. She has security now that she never asked for. One son isn't speaking to the other, and a family that used to fit around a kitchen table now requires catering and a private jet just to be in the same room. You tell your mum you'll talk to him, but you don't know what about. You can't take the money back. You can't unfly the plane. You can't pull up to his house without 2 armed men in the driveway. The gap between your lives isn't something that closes with a conversation. You stop trying. But the machine keeps running. 63 employees keep working. Then the head of security calls an emergency meeting. Someone on the domestic staff has been regularly leaking information to a tabloid. Nothing dangerous, but systematic and for money. They traced the leak via metadata in a gossip column photo. The camera angle matched a specific window in the East Wing. Only 3 employees have access to that hallway. Within 48 hours, they narrow it down. It's Linda, a maid. On Wednesday morning, she is escorted off the property. You watch from a second-floor window. She's carrying a cardboard box, doesn't look up. A man in a suit walks her to the gate. Another opens it. She gets into a car called for her. The gates close. You stand by the window a little longer. The East Wing hallway is empty. By Friday, they hire a replacement. But there's always a next thing. On Tuesday afternoon, you go out on the yacht. The ocean is so blue it seems unreal. The sunset paints everything in gold. For dinner, perfectly cooked fish by a chef with 10 years of experience in Michelin-starred restaurants. The table is set for 1. You return to the estate, go to bed early. The master bedroom is significantly larger than your entire old apartment. You lie there. The ceiling is very white. Around 3 in the morning, you wake up. You get up. The estate is silent. The movie theater is empty. 60 seats, dark screen. The library is empty. You walk down the main hallway. The only sound is a quiet mechanical hum. The security camera at the end of the hall turns and tracks your movement. You stop, it freezes. You take a step, it follows you. You step outside. The grass is wet. The ground is cold under your feet. You walk to the middle of the lawn. The sky is the same sky you looked at when you had nothing. The same stars, the same depth, the same silence. You used to lie on the roof of your old apartment and stare at it for hours. Rent was past due and you didn't care. The stars haven't moved. Everything beneath them is just the way it is. You stand on the lawn until the cold pierces to your bones. You go back inside. You go back to sleep.
After a week in Italy, you return home. Your assistant meets you on the tarmac. How was the trip? Great. You drive into the estate, through the gates, past the security booth, past the pool you swam in 3 times, past the tennis court you've never touched, past the wine cellar with bottles that cost more than most people's monthly rent, into your office. 7 screens, portfolio, companies, calendar, newsfeed. In the first 30 seconds, your name appears twice. You sit down. Outside, the guards change shifts. New faces replace the old ones. A gardener drives a riding mower across the lawn. Over 60 people work here, but you are the only one who lives here.